Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream tonight. I am joined tonight by Sam.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello,
It's
you're.
lovely to be here. You went live before I was ready. I was still in placeholder mode.
Were you? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was on standby because your stream to me via the magic of Microsoft Teams isn't working.
ah, I'm sorry, but I thought it was. Sorry, that is my bad.
Yeah, come on, man, give it a program. I see now you've made it work now.
Yeah, I've pressed the button now.
All right, good times. All right, what are we looking at?
So we're looking at Arizona Divide, and apparently Sam's very quiet. Hang on a minute, let me
Well,
turn.
you've got the power there.
Yeah,
My volume is exactly what it should be.
there we go. Try that. So, yeah, so we
That's not going to do anything unless I say something, though, does it?
no.
All right, okay, what are we looking at? So what is the Arizona Divide for those who don't already know?
So it's the Winslow to Williams. Arizona Divide is on Train Simulator. It's just recently been released from Winslow to Williams. Um,
Right.
hang on, I'm on the wrong one. There we go. So it's basically so if you're in the US, you'll get the BNSF branding, but if you're outside the US, you get the unbranded version, which you can see here. Um, and basically I'm trying to find the mileage of the route exactly. Oh, it's 92 miles of route, so it's quite a long one.
92 miles of route. Okay,
Yeah.
good stuff. Apparently I'm still very quiet, Jamie. Come on, crank me up.
Oh, hang on.
Otherwise I'll be communicating through sign language alone.
Yeah, let me
And
turn
my
one.
knowledge of sign language is very limited.
There we go. I've tested a few things, and we'll see if we can get that one to work. There we go.
Smashing.
So you're now ready to leave the yard. You'll be taking taking the south track to Canyon Diablo. Sorry if I get the pronunciations wrong.
No, that's okay.
So, but this is a G-840BW. This is what we're running. We better get ourselves set up.
Apparently you only get the BNSF branding if you're in the US. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's because because of the way the branding works, they don't have permission to give it out. If you see what I mean, beyond the US. I'm trying to remember how exactly it is. But yeah, it's only for US gets the branding basically.
Apparently I'm still too quiet, Jamie. You need to pump that volume up.
Yeah, I need to.
And then turn the game volume down because we'll be coming through on the same channel.
Yeah,
I've been using this microphone all day and it's plenty loud enough.
it's because I know what I've done wrong. Do you know what I've done wrong?
You've messed with stuff. That's what you've done wrong.
I've done.
You haven't left well enough alone when things were operating perfectly.
There we go. Right, and let's do. Turn that one down a little bit more. Right, that should have worked. It's because I was using the wrong thing. Yeah.
And look, I mean, I could quite happily go and just enjoy my evening, or join in with the chat and ask difficult questions. But I'm here to to aid you in
Yeah.
this mammoth quest that we have this evening.
There we go. Well, yeah. So I've tried with the audio there, so that hopefully that should have worked then. No game sound. It should be game sound.
Is the science rather getting on top of you today, Jamie? What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Sound is all good.
Sound is all
All
good.
good.
Sound is all good.
Okay. Well, there we go. Right. Let's start off, shall we? Alright. So we've got it into forward. Got the brakes off. And we'll put her in. There we go. We're off.
Okay, smashing. Are we running the full length today?
Yeah, we are. So, and we are actually picking some up as well. So we've got some other. We've got 5 Locos on. and then we've got some trailers on. Hang on, I'm speeding. That's not good. And then we've got at the end we've got some containers as well.
I see.
So quite a heavy load.
Any idea how many cars we've got in total? Because that's all important.
I could go long and count, but it's something I can.
That's possibly overkill.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say I think it's over 30 or 40 cars, I think.
Okay.
But then these are doubles as well, as you can see that they're connected, so they're not they're connected as sort of one, so it's sort of one, and yeah. I'm not I should have counted, but there you go.
No. It's okay. It's all good. So, are we simply running the line here, or have we got stops along the way? Have we got to change up the consist? What's the story?
So we're running up to Darling, so we're currently at Windsor West. So it's a take train 787 Windsor Phoenix from Windsor to Darling with a pickup at Canyon Diablo. So this is a two-part scenario. So basically you go from off from Winslow West, and then we go via Denison and Sunshine and Canyon before we get to before we get to Canyon Diablo, and then we pick up some more trailer cars, and then go off to Darling. So what I'll do is I'll show you the route map while we're at it as well.
Oh, smashing.
So this is quite. This is 95, 92, wasn't it? I said 92. 92. There you go. I thought I was right. 92 miles. And so we're currently down here, which is at Winslow. And when we pick up the cars, it's up here. There we go. Canyon Diablo.
Okay. And we should pass a reasonable amount of traffic coming in the opposite direction.
Yes, we should do. Yep. Yeah, there's quite some good AI on here. I must admit, I've played this to have a go at driving the Locos and everything. There's quite a lot of AI, so it's good.
All right. Okay. So who's this route for? Who's it going to appeal to?
I think it's for American Railroad fans, definitely. And I think if someone's looking for maybe something a little bit different, like with the, if you're normally running sort of passenger trains, a lot of the time, I think this appeals to people, if they want to go into freight, and do something a little bit different. This is something different for them. It's it's a long route, and I like it. It shows America very well. It shows, you can see the sort of long distance deserts,
Apparently your sound's still skew whiff there, Jamie, old man.
Is it?
Yeah. But hey, just you're too loud. Everything else is too soft.
Oh, dear.
You've been monkeying with your settings.
I have. Hang on a minute. I know what it is.
And it's not come to the good.
Yeah. I know.
It appeals to people who enjoy sand and gravel, according to Strike Eagle. And based on what we're looking at the moment, I would be in agreement there.
Yeah.
I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
What are we hauling, incidentally? I saw we've got a varied amount of container traffic going on,
So we've got,
and tractor trailers. But
Yeah.
what else?
I think it's just in these. So we've got these sort of like these truck trailers.
Yep.
And then we've got these containers at the end, which are sort of the double stack containers, which are quite famous for America. You get them quite a lot. And I think that's practically, that is the whole train. So it depends on what's in the containers. So.
Okay, all right, no, fine. I was just wondering if you knew if it was anything riveting,
No.
or if we were just running a insert load here kind of load.
Yeah. I think it. Oh, hello. I think it might be an insert load here sort of.
Nice. So where's the challenge on this one? Is it about maintaining the speed over distance? Is it more because there's changes in gradient or speed downs and slows up?
When I've been playing, it's a very up and down route. So it'll catch you out. You'll be doing sort of 70, and think that you're okay, because you look and you think you're going uphill, and then all of a sudden it'll change and you're going down, and then you have to be on the brakes to keep an eye on your speed. So it's a very, even on this flat area, it does look, as you can see, as we're coming up, we're on a 1.3% grade.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably about gradients. You think it's flat, but it actually isn't. So I noticed that one thing, it said there could be demanding grades of up for 1.4%, which is quite a lot.
Okay.
So,
Are the lead Locos C40s?
so the three lead locos are G-840B BWs. And the lead
Okay.
locos.
That's just a random string of numbers and letters.
Yeah, yeah. They are so. They are. Let me just get some more info up. So the 4-axle road switcher diesel locomotives built by GE Transport Systems. They are so there's 60 of them that are by BNSF. They're owned at the moment, but there's a few other companies that also own. But yeah, they're I think they're sort of like a more of a mixed traffic diesel, so or mixed use diesel, should I say, where they'll be sort of like, as well as switching, they'll haul heavy trains, like as we can see,
Do we have any passenger services on this route? Probably not.
No, I don't think there is any passenger services. I think it's all freight.
Right. Well, people enjoy a bit of freight. Well, freight people enjoy a bit of freight, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, actually, something about Arizona Divide. It's 7,322 foot in elevation, so it's quite high up.
Right.
So let's get some speed on now. We can go up to 70.
Apparently Amtrak runs down here as well.
Oh, do they? Ah.
But presumably they don't stop. I don't, because I don't know, Scott. But presumably Amtrak don't stop during the section of this route that it covers. That it goes beyond. In that case.
As far as I'm aware, the top speed, I think, is 70. I haven't seen it higher than that.
Right, Flagstaff. Why do the engines not have a Santa Fe logo? They do have logos on the Raton Pass route. Don't know.
I'm not sure on that one.
How are you on your American freight there, Jamie? I mean,
I will admit, American freight is not my strong point. Let's put it that way. I know some, but not all bits. So I'm sort of I'm sort of learning bits on it, and sort of learning how to judge the brakes, and how to use the dynamic brakes as well as the air brakes. But sort of like locomotives and company-wise, that's something I'm learning basically, and where they run and what they carry, etc.
it's most likely going to be licensing issues, which is why any logos are missing. When it comes to applying a logo to a train or other artwork, we usually get it pretty close, but it depends on what we're allowed to put on there. So it seems unlikely that they would have been missed by accident. More likely that they weren't covered by licensing agreements that we've got.
The other cool
And
thing...
also, are you running the US or the UK version at the moment?
I'm running the UK version.
You're running the UK version.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we should probably rectify that in the future. If we're doing a US route, let's run the US version of it so that we get all of the glorious stuff.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. As you can see, breaking
What are the training locos you've got behind your double bill up front?
So
Triple bill up front.
so these, the blue ones, are. If you go and try and get a nicer shot of them. So these are which if I can find them. These are the EMD F45s that we've got behind us as well.
Right.
So you get in the pack, you get the Locos that we've got at the front, which are the GE B48Ws, and then you've got the blue ones, which are the EMD F45s, and then we've then got the other style of the other yellow. It's called the yellow bonnet livery. Sorry, I should have made sure of that. They are the SD40-2s as well. So you get 3 diesels in the pack.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. It's nice and quiet in the chat today. Has to be said. If anybody's got train sim related questions, then fire away. We're at your disposal.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is not the most concentration intensive route you're ever going to drive, unless I'm wrong there, Jamie. How long's this first leg?
So it is quite a long leg, but you do. It's one thing, as you can see, I've got a 9% grade. So you can see I'm sort of going uphill at the moment, but it's something that it will suddenly change. So it's not a solid sort of like concentration, but you do have to keep an eye on what's going on the gradients and bits and pieces.
Right.
I'll show you inside the cab. There we go.
This is the Seligman Subdivision, apparently. Yeah, there you go.
No.
When did this come out? This is out on the 26th. Was out on the 26th.
Yeah.
So it's been out for a couple of days.
Yeah, we did have an issue with the branding. For some people, wasn't showing it. It wasn't showing up for some people, but that should be now fixed. So if you have any issues with the branding for US, let us know. That should be solved now. I know people have been saying about some horn. Hang on.
Do you get the orange BNSF logo, livery rather?
And so the 2 liveries that you get. So with the the Loco that I'm currently running this end, so that's the livery you get with this Loco, and then with the EMD F40s and the F45s and the SD-40s are in the yellow bonnets, yellow and blue liveries, which is what you get.
And that's just for the for the US. So BNSF is in the US only.
Yes. Yeah.
Why do TSW2 Locos have so many more controls than TS Classic ones? It's because TSW is newer. That's the long and the short of it there, is that because it's a newer engine that we're working on, we are able to model more with the same amount of effort.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. It's not. Sorry, it's not BSNF. It's Santa Fe. Yeah, that's. I was trying to remember
Santa
the
Fe.
Yeah.
I can only go off the answers I'm given, Jamie. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still going to feed me incorrect information. Look, what are we doing here? You're the researcher amongst us.
Yeah, I think it's purely because BNSF have merged with Santa Fe, so it's. I was trying to remember which one it was.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Will there ever be a roadmap for Train Sim Classic? Probably not. And that's purely because Train Sim is a massively complicated beast. There is so much more put out by people other than Dovetail that what we would show you would be a horribly incomplete picture. Plus, the scale of development is less. I mean, there just isn't as much going on. So it wouldn't be worth tuning in for a regular update to a roadmap where it moved on an irregular basis. So that's probably no probably about it. That's why there isn't a roadmap released for Train Sim. Meanwhile, people have been asking about the upcoming Train and Rail Festival that we're involved in. So for those who haven't seen already, what was it? We Are Rail Fans Railfest is coming up in early April, and we're a small part of that, but it's covering all things to do with rail fandom, from model rail to talking about the future of rail. To we've got who's involved? We've got flipping loads of people involved. You've got
Yeah.
Pico and Hornby doing the model rail stuff. We've got Amtrak are doing some bits and pieces with us. Who else is in the list there, Jamie?
So we've got as well. We've got the Northern Railway and Friends of Black Prince. We've got. I should have brought this up, shouldn't I?
Oh, well, I'll bring that up. You drive the train.
Yep.
I can't remember because there's loads of them.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Oh, there's Chris Eden Green, who makes Steam Locos in Profile on YouTube, and he's doing a feature on the Kentney Sussex Terriers.
We've got NJ Transit, we've got the London Transport Museum, Amtrak, and Revolution Trains, OBB, Southeastern, among others. And we're talking all things about train fandom, rail fandom, over the course of the weekend. It's a live festival of rail. There you go.
I'm looking forward to it.
No,
Great
Mike has very kindly just dropped absolutely everything into my lap, and I've done the looking now. It's done. It's dealt with. I've already looked it up. But thank you, Mike. No, good effort. Rail Fan Fest is called. You can find out more at wearerailfans.com. So it's only a very small dovetail aspect to it, but it's all things trains. Where is the Rail Festival thing on YouTube? Actually, I don't know their YouTube channel. I would imagine that their YouTube channel is going to be We Are Rail Fans or some such. Hold on, I'll look it up. Because I don't rightly know. But you can do Join Rail Fans on Twitter, or you can do We Are Rail Fans on the Facebook, or what have we got there? Join Rail Fans on the Instagram, if you do such things.
Yeah.
We already cover quite a lot of, interesting stuff from around the rail world on We Are Rail Fans.
But yeah, there's some really good. I must admit, there was a good We Are Rail Fans thing the other day about Australian 3801. That was really good. If no one knows what 3801 is, it's basically like, if you can imagine, if people know Flying Scotsman, it's basically the Australian version of Flying Scotsman. So it's very, very famous in Australia. And I've had someone ask me if I had to choose. Who was it? Will. Jamie, if you had to choose between Train Sim Classic and Train Sim World, which one would you choose? Well, the thing is, I think I'd probably say I like both, because you get to do different things in the different sims. So I like that, with Train Sim World, that you can walk around the engines and walk around the world, and be able to walk through the stations, etc. Whereas with Train Simulator, I like all the sort of route building and the sort of Watch It Wednesdays that we do and things like that. And also just the amount of variety as well. What about you, Sam? What would you choose between the two?
Which? Sorry, I was multitasking, Jamie, and I was blagging that I was paying attention.
That's alright. It was, the question was that I was asked, if you had to choose between Train Sim Classic or Train Sim World, which one would you choose?
I hate to say it, but it is Train Sim World.
Right.
And that's purely because, anyone who's seen me play knows that I play more for fun than for trying to replicate realism. And the number of options in Train Sim World are just greater in that regard. There is more I can do with it in a play for fun and a non-serious fashion than in a play it seriously. Now, Train Simulator offers a great deal more in a simulated sense, in that it does strictly limit you to playing in a more serious fashion. Although, you don't get much train drift, multi-train drifting going on in in Train Sim World, because we haven't got an editor. So there's more flexibility to do things in Train Sim, but
Yeah.
I think the base game itself has more that you can muck about with in Train Sim World.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is very, very true.
And let's not forget that the routes that I'd most like to play are all in Train Sim. So
Ah.
all of my home routes are Train Sim bound. We haven't got them in TSW.
Ah.
Yes, but that's okay. It's getting me the opportunity to learn routes that I wouldn't otherwise be bothered about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's the same with me. Like, um, like with as I'm running American, I'm learning stuff about the locomotives and the route itself. Which it's quite enjoyable because I think it's something that I enjoy doing, about learning about locomotives and different routes.
Golden Spike is saying that Train Sim's physics are better than Train Sim World. They kind of go, well, we have had over a decade to get them right. That's the big thing with the physics, is that they're all fake in Train Sim. They're a case of tweaking numbers here and there to get it to feel right, and a decade's worth of experience allows you to accomplish that very, very easily. Because you've got plenty of examples to work off in order to make those physics feel spot on. With Train Sim World, it uses real physics. They're simulated, but they are real physics rather than simply sliders of numbers moving up and down. How systems interact with one another directly affects how the physics work. So it's still finding its feet, but in many places it does respond relatively. It responds in a way that feels authentic to someone who maybe isn't 100% attuned to what the real thing might feel like. So I don't doubt that to someone with a high level of experience, Train Sim's physics will feel closer to the real thing because we've had that much longer to fine tune them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is very, very. Yeah, because it's. Oh, hello. I was just testing that. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's quite funny. There we go.
Yeah, and that's just it. There are an absolute ton of routes in Train Sim that many people would love to see brought over into the new game, but we can only do so much at a time, and therefore there's going to be a wait while things are converted or rebuilt, as is more often the case, to bring them up.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's such a long, it's such a much a bigger process, isn't it, to
Yeah.
bring it across,
Does the console limit physics in TSW? No, it doesn't. Not at all. We can do exactly the same physics representation on consoles we can on PC. It's just that we're still going through a learning process. I mean, the Train Sim World has been around for several years now in one iteration or another, and there's still plenty of room for improvement, which is great because it means there's still plenty of room to get better. Whether that's in terms of lighting, sound, environment, you name it, and the physics, obviously. I mean, but it's still doing a pretty good job now. But ultimately, it's up to you to pick which one you like better. If you're not so keen on Train Sim Worlds, no one's forcing you to change from Train Simulator. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So you do the one that suits you better.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. You'll be picking up cars from the west, bound for Phoenix in the siding at Canyon Diablo. You'll be pulling forward and reversing over the crossover into the siding to make the pickup.
Is Matt off this week? No, Matt's not off this week. Matt's back tomorrow and Thursday. What are we showing on Thursday? I can't remember what we're showing on Thursday. There was something else that we were showing on Thursday because Matt's on Thursday. I'm sure of it. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Okay. I was just about to.
Wait, hold on. There it is. It's hiding under here. Oh no, he's not. No, Thursday we're doing the Riviera line. No, we like Matt to work on the game and to actually take some time off once in a while. So Matt's just back tomorrow for Workshop Wednesday. So I'm doing a little bit of Train Sim filling in for once. But I get the easy bit, which is just dealing with the chat.
Yeah, yeah. I have driven this already, but last time I drove it, I did go through a red signal, so that's probably not a good idea. And then it ended the scenario, so hopefully I won't do that this time.
We haven't seen Natalie for a while. No, Natalie will be back. She'll be back with the Rail Fan Fest, and then moving onwards after then. So she'll be around regularly, but she's taken a little bit of time away from the camera, which is fine. Yeah, Thursday's Laserjet. Laserjet is doing a video that should have been shown during March Madness on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty good from what I've seen it. I think and pretty good. You got a lot to look forward to with that.
Most definitely. Well, the other thing that we're holding on to is we've got another 4-player challenge.
Oh yes, as well. Yeah, we've got that.
Is it possible to play either Train Simulator or TSW on MacBooks or iMacs? I don't know about Train Simulator Original, but Train Sim World, I know of people who have it working if you're running under a dual boot approach on a Mac. But as with anything that you're running under dual boot, anything could happen.
Eric, 5146, yes it is. Yeah, we're in the Arizona divide.
Sorry, Eric said hi. Hi, Eric. How's it going? In fact, we can say hi to everybody if they want. Yeah. It's a nice, quiet, peaceful chat. I'm not used to it. Usually, when I turn up, it's the barbarians are at the gates. Hi, Gaz. Nice to see you. Yeah, there we go. I'm not going to do everybody. I'll do maybe half a dozen if they pop up randomly. There you go, Jake. Good to see you. That's splendid. Excellent. Yep, Ben. How's it going? Yeah, smashing. Happy to have you aboard the stream. Where are we now, Jamie? Have a look at the map. Where are we up to? Jason. Splendid. I was wondering where you'd got to. There's George and Wilfboy, and JM Sims and Cammy, and Mulak and Tim, and Richard. You should do Arosa to Chur, which I believe is pronounced Jur or Kerr or so. It's not actually pronounced Chur. I know that for certain.
It's Kerr. It's pronounced Kerr. So it's. I think the way Jasper said it, it's like a silent. It's like a K, and then you take off. It's like a silent H. So it's Kerr. You know.
Okay, fine, whatever. Seifers Van Bremsung. Hi, smiley face. That's what we like to see. Scott finds the signals hard to see from far away. Yeah. Do you play zoomed in, don't you, Jamie, when you're just playing for yourself?
Yeah, I do. So, little tip is that if you're driving in the cab, just occasionally zoom in. Gives you a good eye on what's happening. Another way you can sort of like, if you say that your signal's up there and you can't see it, go up, use your world view. Which I think is 8 on the keyboard. Yes, it's 8. And then just fly over with your keys and just have a look at it, and there you go, there's your signal. So we've got green, so we're alright.
Where was the question? Because this is a proper good question that is almost impossible to answer. Ota, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, asks, should you buy this or Train Sim World? And I'd say it really depends on the level of experience you have with train simulators. Now, the one good thing that Dovetail Games do on a regular basis is we go into sales. We discount stuff constantly. So if you can pick up the starter pack for both, the starter edition when they're discounted, then you can choose between them. What I would suggest is if you are newer to train simulation, then Train Sim World is designed to be a little bit easier to get into. But the depth goes to almost the same level of depth as Train Sim. Train Sim, because it's been around for longer, there is a massive amount of content to choose from, and obviously because we've been working on it for a longer time, then there is a greater level of depth to it at the moment, and you get an editor. But it really depends on your own personal level of expertise as to which one you'll prefer. And we're in a popular rail fanning spot, apparently.
Yeah, we're in, I think, Diablo Gorge, or Canyon,
That's a
sorry.
nice bridge.
Yeah.
I concur with you, Ross.
So we're now coming up to the area that we need to shunt back.
Does the bridge have a name?
I think it's just Canyon Diablo Bridge, I think.
Okay.
There is a
Someone in the chat will know. We've got several people that know this route reasonably well.
there is a sign somewhere. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, it was. There was a
I
sign.
presume the US version requires the patch from True Rail Simulations. Shouldn't require anything.
No, it doesn't. No, although yeah, he has done a. So for anyone who was having issues with the Santa Fe branding, obviously that's for US only. That issue should be resolved now. Um, but if and I think True Rail did a patch before our issue had been, or the issue had been resolved, I think.
Yeah. Jake asks, do we consider ourselves to be rail enthusiasts for reals? Go on, Jamie. Go on, I'll let you go first. Go on.
Yeah, I definitely am. I definitely am. I've been a volunteer at a local heritage railway of where I live for I think it's getting on about 10 to 12 years now.
And look at him, he's only young. That means he's been doing it since he was proper young.
Yeah, I think the first engine I ever drove, I think I was about 10, I think at the time. So yeah, yeah, it's been a lifelong hobby, and I've enjoyed it. I've learned so much, and it's a great community to be a part of. It's a great place to be. If anybody, if you're all rail enthusiasts and you get the opportunity to volunteer at Heritage Railway, it's really good, and you got one local, do it because it's great fun.
Are you stopping for a particular reason? Is there a red coming up, or did I just not pay attention?
So yeah, we've now. I should have.
Or have you got to switch tracks?
Yeah, so these are the other trailers that we've got to pick up.
Ah, gotcha.
So I was just making sure we stopped.
There's more questions. The questions have started coming now. Let's get Edward out of the way first. Edward, ease down on the caps. Will there ever be a Forest Group livery for TSW2? Never say never, but there are no plans to do so at the moment. Next, can you play Train Sim on a laptop? Depends on the laptop. If you've got a good, powerful laptop, yes. If you're working on some 8-year-old's Hewlett Packard was cheap as chips when you bought it, no. So it depends on the laptop. Don't think of laptops as being separate entities so much as just being computers. And they have the same kind of spec going on. Both Train Sim and Train Sim World, it shouldn't make a difference that it's a laptop versus a desktop computer. There we go. Zach, ease down. Which engines need fixing? Zach, you don't need the emphasis. Which engines need fixing? If you ask a question, we might be able to get an answer.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. There was more questions in there. Does this have multiplayer? No, it does not. Neither this nor Train Sim World have multiplayer, and we've made no announcements that we're working on it for either. Train Simulator is unlikely to ever get multiplayer, purely because the amount of unpicking of 10 to 15 years worth of work that it would take to then implement a multiplayer setup would be significant. Train Sim World's a slightly different proposition, but we've not spoken about anything on that front at all. So there's that. What can you do in the Train Sim editor? You can make this route.
Yeah.
You can build a route of your own of this kind. Now, it's no small undertaking, and that you'll probably be better off building something a little bit more simplistic to begin with. But it does allow you to build up full routes and scenarios, and if you're a model maker, you can import trains and set them up how you want. there is a heck of a lot. But basically, the editor that you have is the same editor that we use.
Yeah, that is, but yeah, and the same that this route was built with from Milepost. You know, this is from Milepost, I think, who made this. Let me just make sure I've got that right.
Right. How
Yes.
difficult is it for AI trains to blow the horn at crossings in TS 2021? Specifically, I don't know.
I'm not sure on that one. That's something I'll have to look into. I think it's. I don't think it's something. I mean, obviously, I've been playing.
It's not something we do in
Yeah.
either. I mean, because sounding the horn at crossings is actually a big deal. I mean, it's a major safety function um, for US rail, and we don't replicate it. I don't. You know, I'll talk to Matt next time I'm on with him and see if I can get an answer to that one. What route in real life are you looking forward to riding post-COVID? I'll be doing
Oh.
Sudbury to Marks Tay for the Chapel Viaduct views.
Oh,
I know Marks Tay
nice.
very well.
I'm not sure really. I think there's quite a few I'd like to do. Um, it's yeah. I can't pinpoint one at the moment. Come back to me on that one. I'll have a think.
Surely it'll be your heritage line.
Yeah, I think it will. The railway I volunteer at. Yeah, definitely. I think that's. I haven't ridden on it for quite a while. So there we go. Oh, we're all coupled up now. You're now ready to continue westwards in back onto the south track. You may need to press tab to the signal from the dispatcher. Oh, that's what I got wrong last time. There we go.
Right. Is DTG reading every text posted on the forums? Yes, we do. We read all of them. Now, it is not practical for us to reply to all of them, but we do read the lot. Anything you post over on the forums, we make note of, we read them. And if it is the report of an error or a bug of some description, then we'll make sure that that is properly logged for the dev team to then investigate. Whether they get around to it or not, whether they can find a solution is a different matter, but everything that you write on the forums is logged.
Yeah, I did a bit of Anthony.
There you go. Joe Strange is saying when it comes to laptops, they're not supported, but they might work. And the difference there is it's business language. Not supported means if it doesn't work, well, that's your bad. We're not going to help you get it to work if you're playing on a laptop, which is it's a big cop out on our front. But in all honesty, if you're running a pretty modern laptop, you should have no trouble playing either. But obviously they're not supported, so if I'm wrong, you're stuffed. My apologies. You can blame me.
Do another shot from the viaduct.
Do you also play with TSW2? Yes, we do. We have a regular stream series, which is pretty much every day. And sometimes it's Train Sim World, and sometimes it's Train Simulator. And today happens to be a Train Simulator day. There we go.
Got a long off rate now.
Yeah. Yes, Jamie drove into those like he really hated them, like he had a grudge. What does TS 2021 come with? You know, you can head over to the Steam store and find out. Or I can head over to the Steam store and find out because I don't know. All right, hold on. I'll find out. There we go. What does TS 2021 come with by default this time? Right. Well, it depends on which edition you pick up, as there are multiple. And therefore, if you want to find out the different editions that are available, the editions we've got are the deluxe edition, the expensive one, the Austrian, the US, the UK, the Swiss, the Chinese, and the base version.
Got a lot of
there you go.
Ones. Yeah.
If you want to know more, go to Steam, search for Train Simulator 2021.
There we go.
Are you always going to be supporting consoles? Always is a very long time. So for Train Sim World, the plan at the moment is yes, absolutely, we will support consoles, but who knows where we'll be in 5 years, 10 years time? Will consoles still be a thing? Some people happen to believe that PCs will no longer be a thing, and that we'll all be running a console of some description or another, or a base unit that could even be your telephone, and you just hook it up to a combination of the clouds and a bunch of monitors. And what I say to that is, I'd like to see them try. You're not taking my hardware away from me, you punks. No, no, I'm back in the arms race these days. I want to make sure that I'm running something relatively top notch even. How hard would it be to bring Train Simulator to console? Very, very hard. And again, it's for the same reason as a roadmap is very difficult, is because any third-party routes, locos, that kind of stuff. So anything that wasn't developed by Dovetail itself, well, firstly, we'd have to get it all retested by the platform holders. So everything has to pass certification for Sony and Microsoft before you can put it on their platform. So we'd have to test everything again. That's not insignificant, and that goes the same for anything that anybody else has released as well. So it would all have to be tested properly before it could be released. The simple answer here is I would never expect to see Train Simulator on console, but then never is a very long time, and we don't know what's going to happen with consoles in the future. Now, if Microsoft were to buy Steam, Microsoft bought Valve and integrated the whole thing into one Xbox/PC game ecosystem. I mean, firstly, there'd be a riot, but
Yeah.
who knows what the rules might be after that. No, I think that there would be a riot that almost never ended if that happened. There you go.
Be an explosion probably, but
Yeah, quite significantly. How do we make TSW2 routes? Well, tell you what, tune in to the Rail Fan Fest over the weekend of the, I'm going to say 11th and 12th. I'm pretty sure it's 11th and 12th.
I think it's 10th and 11th
of April, because we have a behind the scenes on how we put a route together. At least a conversation between two of our route builders about how we put routes together, specifically in Train Sim World 2, but we also talk about Train Simulator. Can we please add Train Simulator 2021 in mobile? There are no plans to do so at the current time, and I wouldn't hold my breath. There we go. Why do you need London to Brighton to fix the no signals problem? I don't know. Do you know?
No, I'm not sure about that. What, Jonathan? If you can put that issue into the forums, that's one I've not heard of before. If that is that the signals did you get a different add-on and it suddenly fixed it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is Jamie showing me up on it for his camera work. He doesn't get enough credit, but Jamie is a dab hand with the camera, has to be said. But it puts me to shame. That's ridiculous.
It's rather long train. I won't do that the whole length.
Yeah, quite. Joshua, did I hear right? There's no roadmap next week. That's right, Joshua, because we're going to be doing some stuff at Rail Fan Fest that would render the roadmap inaccurate pretty much straight after we'd announced it. So that's about as big a hint as I can give you. There you go. What game engine does TS 2021 use? A bespoke one.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bespoke engine. And ancient as well. When is the plan to make the next Clinchfield stream? When we've announced the Clinchfield stream is coming up. It won't be long, probably next week, I would have thought. Probably next week, if not the week after.
Single track working is going on between Darling and Flagstaff. You will be waiting a while at Darling West. This part of the scenario ends once you stop at Darling.
If community managers manage their community very well, will they get a raise? Nah, that's not the way it works. We don't. Community managers don't get performance-based pay. So, like, if everybody were to turn around and go double thumbs up because your stream was really good, then it makes our job more fun and easier. Which is that's the motivation for doing it. But the performance-based pay we get is based on how the company does overall. So if the company does spectacularly well, then a community manager will see a bonus coming out the other end of that. But no, fundamentally, you do the job you're paid to turn up to do.
Yeah.
Which is to try and make the community feel like they're being heard, that their concerns are being acknowledged, even if they can't necessarily be addressed, and that the information from outside of the company is being correctly represented inside the company, and then that anything that the company has going on is correctly represented outside the company. You're a little bit a spokesperson. You're a little bit PR person, I guess, from time to time. You're a little bit kind of camp counselor. You're a little bit activity starter. There's a lot that goes into being a community manager. And for those of you interested in doing it, it is the hardest job in the games industry. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong. There you go. It is the messenger. The community manager is the messenger, and the messenger, as you know, is always shot by both sides.
Yeah.
Do I miss the community manager job? No. I mean, this part of it, this is me still doing part of a community manager job, albeit in a slightly more free and easy way than others are permitted to do so. But no. I stopped doing community management because I'm too angry for it these days. And actually, I'm not. I'm dead happy. I'm too intolerant. I don't have the patience for it that I used to have. And therefore, the ideal situation is you don't put me near players. And yet, here I am.
I am. Yep, here you are.
And yet. Good. George, I saw your message on the forums. I haven't read it yet. There you go. Right, TX, I think the US version has the missing texture issue, which requires the patch from TrueRail. Right, so on the US version, we've either goofed or deliberately omitted something.
Yes, so there was an issue with the US missing texture, but that should now be resolved. So that issue should be solved for you now. So, but do let us know if you're still finding issues with it in the forums.
Yeah, please do, because we want to make sure that stuff like that's fixed.
Yeah.
Whenever we put something new out, that is the best chance there is to get stuff fixed on it, because the team that developed it will still have it fresh in their mind. So it's nice and quick to get those things addressed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there you go. It's all good. The Pink Train says, I have a very interesting style of community management. What I have is a luxury in that the big dogs, the brass at Dovetail, gave me a massive length of rope in order to try and build up a little bit of confidence in the community. And I said that it wouldn't be pretty, but that I would try and restore some faith that had perhaps been lost over a couple of years. So yeah, I did it my own way, and it's not a way that any other sensible company would let you do. But it is a nod of respect towards Dovetail that they let me just kind of be abrasive, frankly, to try and sort our communications hole out, because there was definitely a communications hole. Your ditch lights are off if you've got them. I saw someone earlier say that these don't actually have ditch lights.
Yeah, I don't think I have the ditch lights on this. I do have one interesting light though. I do have the step lights, which do actually work. So if I zoom into the, there you go, look, you see the lights are on the steps there. There's one there, one on the back there, and I think there's a couple on the front. there's one there. There you go. Step light is there. It's quite interesting as well, like the chain shaking about. Look at that, look. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, did you find Dovetail, or did Dovetail find you, Jamie?
Oh, so I sort of found Dovetail. I think it was. I mean, I've always been playing Train Simulator for a very long time, and I think obviously I joined sort of August time. I think I just then, when lockdown happened, I then started just playing Train Sim World 2020 because it was on the Game Pass, and obviously I kept in to see when sort of kept on Train Simulator or on the Facebook pages, and the community management job came up, and I just went for it, and here I am. There we go.
Yeah, I let you in.
You did, didn't you? You did, yeah.
I let you in.
Yeah.
See, when we hired Natalie and Jamie, what we were looking for, and it's an impossible role to hire for, is a train simulator community manager, because the ideal person that you want is someone who absolutely loves trains and has got a vast amount of experience in managing communities.
Yeah. Yeah.
There aren't many places you're going to get that level of experience.
No.
So in Jamie, we found someone who absolutely loved trains.
Yeah.
And we felt you've got the right stuff to become a community manager with a bit of practice and a bit of time. How do you feel like you're getting on?
I mean, I think I'm doing well. I think
we haven't fired you yet, so
No.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah. So I'm still here and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah.
No, you're doing a great job. And then with Natalie, we found someone who had exactly the right kind of passion. She'd worked with communities who are as in depth, with as great an eye for detail as a train fan does, and she'd got a passing interest in trains, largely just the Hogwarts Express. Although that's changed now, she knows a heck of a lot more now. So we hired both of them on the basis of a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And JD's settling in too. He's new, but he's getting it done, and he's behind the scenes. He's doing loads of stuff, which is great to see. Jamie's cool because he likes the Swiss.
Hey, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do. I mean, I've got a big part of my heart is Swiss rail, definitely.
Yeah. Quick question. Are you guys aware of what horns the Santa Fe B40-8W have in game? They should be a Leslie A125H.
Oh.
Do you know that? I'm assuming you do now.
I do now. I didn't.
Zach, if you want to know for sure, again, I mean, I hate to have to keep directing people to the same place, but if you ask the question on the forum, you not only get the massive range of expertise that is the other forum users, because more often than not, and this counts true no matter what game it is that you are working on as a community manager, more often than not the community will know way more about it than you do, and so you learn as much from the players as you do internally. It's incredibly informative just listening to players talk about the game. And I use game as a catch-all, incidentally, for a piece of software that is designed to bring entertainment. I call that a game. I know some people get a little bit upset when you call a simulator a game. I mean absolutely no disrespect about it, but if I'm playing with it, it's a game. But that's just me. Why isn't this on PlayStation? Because it was never designed to be on PlayStation. It never was. It was at a time where PC was very, very, very niche. It was during that window where just about every major games company said that PC gaming would be dead within a couple of years. So there wasn't the sense that bringing it over to consoles was a good idea. And as such, it's when all of these major game executives were wrong, as they very clearly were, because PC still the place to be, still the cutting edge. that's why it was never brought over to console. When are we getting Adam in the driver's seat? You know, we need to do that. We need to make Adam feel the pressure of getting something right with an audience there to point and laugh anytime you get something wrong. I'm going to make that happen.
That would be good. I would like to see that.
You know what else? We should have him in the next challenge as well.
Oh, yeah, we should.
We should get Adam in the next challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be worthwhile. TX75378. Here's the biggest suggestion I'm going to give to Jamie, Matt, and all of DTG. Just like the South Wales coastal route you re-released earlier, can you do exactly the same thing to all the other DLC so that the player can get the same achievements as that of the original DLC with the licensing? Well, that's no small amount of work. And actually re-releases like that, they're not too much work to do, but they do take time. So I don't actually know the strategy off the top of my head that is being chased. Jamie, put this one on your to-do list and find out.
Yeah, I will.
Are we planning to work through all of those with liveries that we've retired for licensing reasons?
I've got my notebook.
Joe Strange. Oh, the question was for both of us. Did DTG contact me to get me on board? I totally changed the way that DTG communicate. I've known Paul, who is the CEO, and John, who is the deputy CEO. I have known them for the best part of 20 years. When they were at EA, I was at EA. Guess what I was doing at EA? I was a community manager. Woohoo! I've been through a whole bunch of places since then, so I've community managed on the biggest games there are, yeah, I've bounced around a lot, and I became a consultant. So it turned out, or I realised after being a community manager for 10 years, is that I understood how players think, or I suddenly worked out that I'd codified how players think and how you can then work with them to get the best result possible. And as part of that consulting work, this was back before Train Sim World released, I did some consulting work for Dovetail. Anyway, a couple of years ago, they asked me if I'd like to do some research work on players and what you guys liked and didn't like, and how this was specifically for Train Sim World, how Train Sim World could evolve to better serve its players. So I did that research piece, and they said, well, we know this was a consulting gig, but we've brought you into so many different meetings and bits and pieces. How about you stick around on a part-time basis and do and be our official kind of researcher? And I went, yeah, all right. And then last year, when Dimitri left and Train Sim World 2 was looming, they went, we need someone to be able to handle this community, and now especially when we've got something complicated coming up. And so they asked me to do it, and I said, I don't really want to do it, because I've kind of retired from active community management. And so with a bit of back and forth, they finally agreed to let me do it my own way, on the basis of they trusted me because they've known me for ages. So they already know what I'm like, and as my boss, who is the deputy CEO, has said to me several times, it kind of goes, a lot of what you've done has made me feel very, very uncomfortable, but it definitely got the right result. There you go. That's the story. And now you know. How long have we got left on this route, Jamie?
So we've got...
wishes to know, because he's obviously got other things to go and do.
We've got 2 miles to the end of the scenario, but I mean, we have only done, so we have only gone from, so we're up here, we have only gone that far, basically. You have got all this, the rest
Put
of
your
the
foot down.
So, but yeah, so we've only got 1.9 miles to the end of this scenario, but yeah, there's all that rest of the route to explore. Well.
Philip Plays asks, why do we still put fake and wrong horns on locomotives? And I think horns is the tip of the iceberg. Sometimes we will use fake or wrong sounds all over the place, and the plain and simple answer is because we don't have a choice. When the time comes, we either do have a recording that we can make use of and then remix accordingly, or we don't. And in the event that we don't, we come up with something that is the closest approximation we can get with what we have at our disposal. Now you can go, well, and let's take Armstrong Powerhouse is a great example, because they're pretty much renowned for the quality of the sound that they put out. But they're very selective with regards to which locos, which routes they put together. And you know what? That's their right. They have every right to be selective. And quite often they will only build stuff that they know that they can get access to everything that they're going to need. Whereas we are trying to deliver what we believe players will get the most out of. And sometimes that means that the sound isn't right, or it isn't spot on. We still do the best we can to make it feel as close to the real thing as possible. And if you're not 100% expert in that route, that loco, then it should be good enough to pass as authentic. But obviously, if you know it inside out and upside down, you will spot any inconsistencies immediately. So the short answer is, because we have no choice. We either use what we can get our hands on, or we don't do it.
Yeah.
You know? There you go. Do we still have a dev team at DTG making new models for TS 2021? Yes, we do.
Yep.
It's not as big as it was back in the day, but we do still have a team making new models.
Yeah, like Cross City, that was one, wasn't it?
I like the intro. Reminds me of a fellow named Jacksepticeye. Everyone knows Jacksepticeye. He always says that phrase, top of the morning. Sorry, top of the morning to your laddie. Is the Jacksepticeye opening greeting. He's very good, but has far too much energy. Have you ever thought about asking community for horn audio? The problem is copyright, because any audio recording is subject to copyright. So if you go, we regularly get offers of sound packs done for us, but it then becomes a question of, okay, who owns the copyright to this? If you recorded it with your own equipment from the real thing, did you have their permission to get it in the first place? And is that then signed off for commercial use? Now, it sounds like a massive hassle, but that's what goes into getting properly licensed sounds and so forth. And we try to do it as often as we possibly can. Our preferred way of doing it is that we'll take a recording team out to go and record all the appropriate sound from a loco, in partnership with the owners of that setup. There you go. It's not that hard to make a good sounding horn. No, it's not. If you've got a recording of the original horn, it's not that hard to make a good sounding horn. Yes.
Look at that. There we go.
Yeah. Has there been a resolution in the Arizona Divide branding issue? Yes, and no, and yes.
Yeah.
The branding issue is that certain parts of the branding are only permitted to be used in the US. Outside the US, you will get different branding instead, and that is purely down to the extent of the license that we're allowed to use. Yeah, I know. Jamie's showing me up doing all his flash camera work. It's ridiculous.
It's like I've been practicing. Oh dear.
Why do we see so little of DTG JD? Because he's still bedding in at the moment, and also that yours truly is still officially community until tomorrow, when I cease to be community anymore. So we're making use of me, basically, and then JD will appear a little bit more often. But also he was brought on to do an awful lot more behind the scenes than I do, in terms of of making sure the number of articles you've been seeing lately, and JD has been responsible for a lot of that upswing, as well as how our social channels are used and the breadth of communication that you get. So while, you know, I might have only hit a few different places, but given a lot of depth, where JD is working so far as to bring breadth, and hopefully we'll be able to combine those two approaches. There you are. Is this my final stream? No, they're not going to let me stop streaming. Streaming's part of my job description, so so I'll still be streaming. Yeah. When are we back at Dovetail Games office? We don't have a date yet.
No.
You know, we invested quite a lot in making sure that everybody could work effectively from a home solution, and midway through last year, the company asked about whether people wanted to continue working from home, whether they wanted to go back and work full time from the office, or a bit of both. And the results have been they've been mixed. That's what you would expect. Some people want to work out of the office. Some people are very happy staying at home. Me, and others would quite like to do a bit of both. So it's likely that as COVID restrictions ease this year, that we'll move to doing a kind of a bit of both, sort of an approach where we're in the studio sometimes, out of the studio sometimes.
Yeah.
Natalie will have an interesting commute. Natalie's prepped to move, so she took the job knowing that she would need to move nearer the office, but she hasn't had to do so yet. What's my favourite route so far in all sims? All train sims? Let's limit it to train sims, shall we? My favourite route. I'm going to say it's Liverpool to Manchester in Train Simulator.
Ah.
Well, I used to ride on that every day.
Oh, I
But
see.
only as far as Wavertree Tech Park. That's when I worked at Sony.
Right.
They were based at Sony, so I lived in. They were based at Wavertree, so I lived in Liverpool.
Oh.
And I used to walk up from the docks, which is where I lived, to the station every morning, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
Absolutely glorious. Lived there for 3 years.
Nice.
One of my favourite commutes I've ever done.
Nice.
There's
Yeah.
only 9 minutes on a pacer to get to work. But it doesn't matter. The train wasn't important. And then once a week, I'd get the Pendolino down to London.
Nice. A bit of a change up once a week then.
In first class as well.
Ooh.
Well, no, that's because Sony went down to London so often that we worked the Virgin regular traveller club system like an absolute boss. Is if at the time, if you bought, I think it was like 5 first class tickets, you got to travel at weekends for free in first class.
Yeah.
So we would routinely buy just enough tickets to get that allowed, and then we'd stick with it.
Wow. Oh, Crucible's right there. 9 minutes on a pace. If people pay good money for that now, yes, they do. They
That's
do.
True.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with that. They were perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I mean, they got the job done.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Willow once worked at Wavertree for a weekend in '98. Was that before the Tech Park station opened?
I'm not sure.
The days where you could move about freely. Well, you know, it's affected us all. I mean, the choice was a simple one, is, you know, we either all keep away from each other to avoid spreading this thing any faster, or not. So the wisdom felt to be not.
Yeah.
Sony has its testing department. Yeah, that's right. Sony has as its test and external development as well, are based up in Liverpool. So the stuff that Sony does with external studios. So when I was there, I was working with Media Molecule on Little Big Planet, the first one.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Right, we're all done here.
Yeah,
Good job,
we are.
Jimmy.
There we
You
go.
managed to get that done. Okay, right. Do some end of stream type stuff then.
Yeah. So that was Arizona Divide. So it's now available on Steam. It's made by Milepost Simulations. It is currently at $24.99. You get 3 Locos, You get 8 career scenarios, and you get 92 route miles, which is really, really good. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the stream, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed it, Sam, as well.
I did. I had a thoroughly enjoyable time. Thank you, Jamie.
That's okay. So there we are. So that is all for tonight, and we will be back tomorrow for a Workshop Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're going to run. It will be me and Matt on Workshop Wednesday. And then I think you're back next week, aren't you, Sam?
Me? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm done for this week now.
Yeah, you
That's
are.
smashing.
Yeah. So there we go. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. So that's it for tonight, and we'll see you all soon. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching, folks. Cheerio.
Bye. Bye.